The 1955 to 1957 or second generation Chevrolet Bel Air formed part of a group of cars known as the Tri-5s, which also encompassed the 150 base model, the 210 mid-range model, and with its introduction in 1955, the Nomad wagon, known as the Tri-5 because these cars spanned 3 years from 1955, 56 and 57. The Bel Air was the luxury model of the Chevrolet range and the model that I will be focusing on. However, the pointers that I'm about to show will still hold true for the rest of the range. 1955 marked the debut of the second generation, often referred to as the Hot Ones. These cars were hailed as the first from Detroit, specifically designed for hot rodding. Already impressive straight from the factory, they excelled even more when customised. This year also saw the introduction of the 265 4.3 litre small block V8. The 1956 model's design was essentially carried over from the previous year, featuring a few changes. By the time the 265 V8 had become a favourite amongst hot rodders who appreciated its ease of modification, Chevrolet's engineers took note and boosted the horsepower from 162 horsepower to 225 horsepower. In 1957, as the horsepower race intensified, Chevrolet unveiled a new version of the small block engine, featuring 283 cubic inches displacement and delivering 245 horsepower. They also released a limited number of 283 engines with Rochester fuel injection, achieving 283 horsepower. This made it the first production engine to reach 1 horsepower per cubic inch. So how do we tell the years apart? The Bel Air was first produced in 1950 until 1954, and with the first generation being nothing like the second, these models can easily be distinguished from each other. However, for the second generation, let's start with the front. The 1955 model is easily identifiable, as this is the only year with a grille being separated and not extending past the headlights. The grille also has predominantly vertical ribs, where all other years have horizontal, and the headlights are less prominent than the later 56 and 57 models. It also has separate eyebrow turn signals that were integrated into the body. 1956 was the first year for the full width grille. The turn signals were now rectangular and the headlights were more squared off. Although the hood was very similar to the 55, it had an integrated V as well as the Chevrolet motif at its front. Although the 57 also had a full-length grille, this was more rounded and split by a central bar with a Chevrolet emblem mounted on it. The turn signals were now round and also integrated into the central bar. The hood now carried 2 rockets, and this was the first year for gold accents. Now let's take a look at the rear. The 55 had smaller tail lights, which also incorporated reverse lights. The 56 had bullet-style rear lights. The 57's fins came to a sharp point with bumper mounted rear lights. Finally, the side. The 55 is probably the easiest to spot from the side, with its rear arches partly covered. On the driver's side rear fender, you will find a fuel cap. The side chrome on the 55 is split in horizontal segments along the front fender and from the rear of the door and along the rear fender. The 56's rear arches were widened in order to assist with wheel changing, and its fuel cap was now located behind the rear light on the driver's side. The side chrome on the 56 is continuous from front to rear and continues the two-tone paint scheme. The 57's rear arches are similar to the 56, but if you also take a look at the rear fin, you'll notice, unlike the 55 and 56 models where it is upright, the 57's angles back and is sharper. The 57 has its fuel cap located in the rear fin on the driver's side. The side chrome on the 57 again flows from the front to the rear, but this model had aluminium inserts. These pointers should enable you to identify the Chevrolet Tri-5 models from 1955 to 1957.